Hey everybody, this is Derek, aka No One on YouTube. Thank you for clicking on the video. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are hydrated. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're mentally feeling well. If not, send me a DM and we can talk. I always want to make sure that you guys are doing good. These are crazy times that we're living in. The economy is horrible. Lots of stuff going on in the world. And then sometimes in our personal lives, sometimes we can just block out the rest of the world because we got mountains of our own, right? But I just want to let all you subscribers know I'm always here if you want to talk. You'll be surprised because I'm very psychologically analytical and I'm always good to talk to. Now, I got a request from RB Design, aka Richard, to do Sabaton, some Sabaton, and we're gonna do the song. And as you guys know, or if you don't know, Sabaton is a Swedish Canadian metal band that sings about history. Um, and not necessarily all Swedish history, but a lot has to do with war and battle and things of that nature. Especially, we see a lot of that in today's world, right? So it's almost kind of like metal history class is kind of how I view it. So this song is called Christmas Truce. This was something that happened in the year 1914 after, or I guess you could say the first winter of the Great War. So on their website, for historical facts, it says an act of trust during World War One on December 24th, 1914, an unofficial Christmas truce was enforced on the Western Front. And I'm imagining that's like up on the front lines or like no man's land. It says British and German soldiers united, mingled, and even played games together, a rare but magical moment of peace. So, you know, I've always said in previous videos that even like with wars that are going on right now, most of the times the common people don't want those wars. It's always the governments that start these wars, right? And it's always these political leaders that want control. Many soldiers are civilians that get forced into going into battle. Look what's going on in certain countries right now, where um, yeah, they're literally getting forced to go. If you don't go, you get a you get something in your head, if you know what I'm talking about. Um, but I think this story is interesting because it shows a human side. Because instead of just looking at they looked at each other as men and not as soldiers in a battle, for a rare moment. And I think that's very, very interesting. Um, so again, because this was a 4-year war, and it says in December 1914 there was no end in sight to the Great War. Morale plummeted. The soldiers realized that they would spend winter in the miserable trenches. So it says Winston Churchill wrote to his wife in mid-December, "What would happen, I wonder, if the armies suddenly and simultaneously went on strike and said some other method must be found for settling their dispute?" Well, he would soon find out. Um, Now, granted, that did not happen internationally, um, and it's just a shame that this just cannot happen now. If like people would be like, if the people would rise, listen, I'm not going to give a political opinion. Never mind. Um, because I'm politically neutral to all this kind of stuff, but I do look at things from the outside, inside. Um, and while I'm not going to like read the whole thing, it did say, okay, when winter began and the temperature dropped, an increased lethargy was noticed by officers on both sides. Soldiers were literally sick of the worsening conditions of being constantly exposed to the cold, the rain, and the enemy guns. The aggressive policies put in place by high command to keep the infantry busy only made things worse. Patrolling through the nights, keeping watch over the parapets, throwing bombs, and sniping at the enemy, it all seemed so futile. That's what war is, futile. All it did was increase their own chances of getting killed. This led to a number of unofficial truces all over the front. a live and let live system. I didn't know anything about this. This is very, very interesting history. It says, you let me sleep, I let you sleep. You don't fire on our latrines, we won't shoot up yours. Sometimes grenades were intentionally thrown to the side or code words were exchanged, signaling a coming bombardment. It was a basic, almost natural understanding that there were limits to war. So this is very interesting. The Champagne offensive began the week before Christmas. After a series of attacks and counterattacks, no man's land was littered once more with the bodies of the fallen. The overall mood inside the trenches was as terrible as the weather, with men up to their knees in mud and water. Then the first incidents happened. German soldiers were heard asking about a ceasefire. Hands in the air, they indicated that they wanted to go out and take care of the wounded in no man's land and bury the decaying bodies. The British agreed and went out to do the same. It was all spontaneous, but suddenly men were passing each other over the battlefield without firing a shot. And in some cases, they even had a quick chat or shared a cigarette. So, again, in this moment, unofficially, without letting their superiors know, um, for a brief moment in this war, they were not soldiers. They were men, they were humans. Um, Now, let me see. Just blah 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 blah. Blah. Hold on a second. Um, okay. On Christmas morning, as the fog disappeared, the stillness remained. Instead of the crackling of rifles, men heard the chirping of birds. Everyone in the sector wondered what would happen next. Soldiers once more began talking to each other. Boxes of food and souvenirs were thrown across to the other side. A few men exposed themselves above the parapets, then more followed. A basic agreement was made. No one would fire unless fired upon. In some places where the ceasefire had indeed been arranged beforehand, further rules were set in place. First of all, if either side fired a shot with the intent to kill, the truce was immediately off. Action by artillery did not count, nor did it break the truce, as they had no control over the batteries far to the rear of the trenches. If an order was given to open fire, they would shoot the first 3 rounds into the air to give the other side time to get in cover. If there were orders to expand a certain amount of ammunition to stay, the machine gunners would waste ammo in the evening hours after a shrill warning signal. Neither side was allowed to erect barbed wire or repair their trenches during the truce. So, this is all very interesting. Still, everything was based on trust and an unwritten code of honor. A machine gun could cut them all down within seconds, yet no one shot. Men venturing out did not even carry arms. Some waved a white flag, and the men, mortal enemies just the day before, met and shook hands, talked, and exchanged gifts. And again, this is just showing that so many civilians that get thrown into war uh, over history, man's history, many of them don't even want to be in the war. Many people don't even see the reason why there's a war. I remember, well, I don't remember because I was a baby, but my father is a veteran and he fought in the Vietnam War. He was a Marine, and the American government lied to the American public, saying that you know they were over there to save millions of American lives. All of that was 100% false. It was total bullcrap. Um, the whole reason why they were there is because northern Vietnam was controlled by the Soviet Union, while South Vietnam was controlled, I believe at first by British, and then the Americans came in. Um, so it really was just like part of the Cold War, right? It was that pushing between the Soviet Union and the Anglo American um, alliance. So again, this is just a sorry if I'm rambling about history, but that's what this is bringing all of this about. But so this song is basically about this rare moment in military history that happened in World War One. So it's a true story. It's something that happened. Now it says here, for those that experienced the truce, it was something they'd never forget. In some places, it lasted a few hours, and in others, it lasted to the next day, but it couldn't go on forever. As the news went up the chain of command, generals on both sides were quick to snuff it out. fraternization was deemed a crime against the nation. Participating units were rotated out the lines, and their officers were threatened with court martial. High command ordered inspections and speeches and shamed the men at the front. Did you shake hands with those that bayoneted babies in Belgium? And did you exchange gifts with the bastards that killed your brother yesterday? And it says, although the press back home was quick to take up the story, censorship soon cracked down. And in today's digital age, that's what we see, right? In certain wars, the government will shut down social media because then they have their propaganda machines doing all the journaling or all of the news broadcasting, and it's all propaganda to get the people brainwashed into believing that there's same thing with what America did with the Vietnam soldiers, and they fooled the American population. So anyways, so Churchill, it said, got his answer. For a single day, the opposing forces mingled in friendly conversation and even in games. It was an amazing spectacle and must arouse bitter thoughts concerning those high-ranking conspirators against the peace of the world, who in their mad ambition had hounded such men on to take each other by the throat rather than by the hand. What an amazing sentiment. So that was a quote by Arthur Conan Doyle in 1916. So that's the premises of this song and video that we're going to do right now. So let me go ahead and full screen this. So I know the story. So now I just want to see it play out in the video and in the song. So come along and join me. Ha! Was that Hannes? May I say, right from the start, great cinematography. It's like watching a little mini movie. That was great. It's really interesting to see the band members playing these parts too. And by the way, played it very, very well. But it's also funny to see them with the long hair because, in the military, they're going to cut your hair off and shave your head. But needless to say, this is for a music video, so we're just going to pretend. But yeah, no, that was really, really good. Oh, I didn't even see that part. Okay, there's Hannes van Dahl. Yeah, like a little mini movie.
Ready! Ready! Man, wake up! Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hannes! Hannes! Come on!
And that is the reality of war.
Silence! Oh, I remember the silence on a cold winter day. After many months on the battlefield,
and we were used to the violence. Then all the candles went silent, and the snow fell. Voices sang to me from no man's land. We are all, we are all, we are all, we are all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on wood snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home. Madness, how I remember the sadness. We were hiding our tears in a foreign land where we faced our fears. We were soldiers, carried the war on our shoulders. For our nations, what are you doing? Is that why we bury our friends? We were all, we were all, we were all, we were all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends.
Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Um, but back then it was called the War to End All Wars. Uh, then it became known as the Great War, and then later it was termed World War One. But very, the song is great. The video is great. The historical aspect of this is great and very interesting. It's something that I didn't even know about. So, and it just kind of made me think, um, because of certain things and situations today, Sweden and Finland for the longest time were very neutral and they didn't necessarily want to be into NATO, but because of certain events and because of one man, um, Sweden and Finland has now joined NATO and are doing their exercises because in preparation of a possible future situation. So we'll just have to wait and see how that is. But the scene at the beginning when the soldiers were in the snow, unalived, um, really that picture paints 1,000 words because that is the reality of every war, every war. And again, most of the time, it's not the common people, it's the people in power, and that's what they cause. And one day they're going to get theirs, trust me.
We're all friends, our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on wood snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home.
This is such a great video. Um, and I think this video, it just speaks volumes about war, you know? Um, as you saw, like one side is like hurled a grenade to blow up the other side, but then, when they had this truce, you see them playing games with each other. They went from soldiers in the trenches to just men, humans, because that's what both sides were. That's what all sides are in any war. They're all people, humans with families.
We were all friends. And today we're all brothers. Tonight we're all friends. A moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers. We drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. On Christmas on the front line we walk among our friends. We don't think about tomorrow. The battle will commence when we celebrate to Christmas. We thought about our friends, those who never made it home when the battle had commenced.
Is that real? Like, is that a real, um, I don't know, what's the word that I want to use? Um, or is that just for the story? The lest we forget sign on there. Either way, it works. But if it's real, let me know. Or maybe they're reenacting something that's real. You guys can let me know in the comment section. Yes, I knew just from being in the Nightwish Army, I've always heard that Floriansen did something at the end of this song. So, ending credit vocals by Floriansen, executive produced by Sabaton. And I actually want to listen to that again, but let me just. Yeah, I want to go back and listen to Floor's part again. Very epic. Very epic. Um, can you imagine the rest of the guys like just going up to Hannes and be like, hey, Hannes, you're married to one of the greatest female vocalists right now. Uh, could she do an operatic part for us at the end? Um, I'm not quite sure if that's how it went down, but or maybe Hannes pitched it. Either way, that was the whole thing was just phenomenal. I love because I love history. I love history, and like I said, I didn't know that this was something that happened, so I learned something from this, and and you know what? It would be nice if I know it's not going to happen because of human nature, but it would be nice if the entire world would recognize, and by the world, I mean like the people, the common people, civilians. Um, can you imagine, like Winston Churchill said, like if everybody would tell the government and say, no, we're not fighting. You go fight. You started this war. You know, it's just kind of like the song "War Pigs" by Black Sabbath. Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave that all to the poor. I mean, that lyric right there says a lot. Um, and it's so true. So, I mean, man's history will continue to be like this as long as, selfish, greedy people are in control. And that's how it will always be until the time comes when that will no longer be the case. Um, but thank you for joining me on this musical experience and journey, which was mixed with history and knowledge. And Richard, RB Design, thank you so much for recommending this to me. This was phenomenal. I loved the cinematography. I loved the storytelling. I loved the acting that the band members did. I loved the way it was all put together. The song, the vocals, Floriansen's ending, operatic, epic vocal ending, all of it was just fantastic. So thank you so much. Now I'm going to have the link to the original video so that you can go watch it uninterrupted on their Sabaton's channel. And then I'm going to have Sabaton's information so that you can go follow and subscribe and follow them on all their socials. In my description is going to be all of my socials. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, join my Discord, and more importantly, my Patreon. This video is going to go on Patreon like immediately. So all my videos go there for early access, and then all the blocked videos go there. There's also exclusive videos that are not going to be on YouTube that are over there. So if you want to check it out, you can join for free, and there is also a 7-day week free trial of tier 1, which is usually $3 a month. But you can sign up to do that for like a whole week, and then you can take a look around, see what you think, and if you do that, I will treat you as if you paid for that week. So give me some more requests. I'll do those requests, because for that week you are a Patreon member. So thank you so much, everybody. I love you guys very much. And again, if you guys are not feeling good mentally or emotionally, reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram. You can message me on Facebook. You can friend me on Discord and send me a private message there. So anyways, everybody have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your week.